All right, some context to this, which you'll get nowhere else, which is why you're listening and watching the No Spin News tonight. China's economy is in trouble. 1.5 billion people, most of them very poor. They don't have the basics of life. Some don't even have electricity out in the western part of that country. It's a huge country. And most people just get by. And the economy goes south, there's going to be big trouble. And you got a big COVID comeback there in China as well. So here are the facts. So the producer price index, which is the overall indicator of the economy, is down 1.3% in October from a year ago. And that is not good, okay? It's the first time that the producer price index has fell since December 2020 in China. But here is the key stat. Prices for pork, which is big in China, pork, up 52%. They can afford it. Fruit up 13%. Now, China's stats are not reliable, so this is shocking. It's probably worse than that, okay? And then the export economy. China makes its money, unlike the United States, in selling products abroad because they have slave labor there. There are people who don't make any money, so they make the hats and the shirts and everything else, and they send it abroad and they make a profit and it comes back. It's what their economy is based on. It's an export economy. It fell 0.3% in October alone, okay? Expectations were for a 4.3% rise in exports in China, and it fell 0.3%. Again, this is dangerous in a population that is living on the margin. So Barclays, the World Bank, cut its forecast for China's economic growth next year to 2%. This is nothing. So China's in trouble. And COVID, in the last 2 weeks, COVID cases reported 600% up. 600% in 2 weeks in China. So there's lockdowns. That means soldiers come in to your area and you can't go out, whether you have COVID or not. Not everywhere, but a lot of places. So this is the atmosphere of the meeting between President Biden and President Xi. Bali, Indonesia, a place called Nusa Dua. I've been there. Beautiful place. Gorgeous place. They say that the meeting took 3 hours. On our side, Secretary of State Blinken was there, Treasury Secretary Yellen, Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor, Nicholas Burns, American Ambassador to China. And the Chinese had a whole bunch of people there. So this is a quote from the Chinese news agency, which is, government tells them what to do. The discussions were thorough, frank, and constructive. That doesn't mean anything. But here's what's interesting. Xi is quoted as saying, "We hope and always have strive for maintaining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. But Taiwan independence is as incompatible with peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait as fire and water." So she's not backing away. Chinese are going to make a move on Taiwan, but now is not the right time, in my opinion, because their economy is so fragile. And once they do that, there'll be sanctions like with Putin, which are really breaking Russia. And we're going to do a big investigation on Putin next week when all this election stuff clears. Putin's in trouble. She knows it. Now, the Biden side, the American side, says that the two agreed that nuclear weapons should never be used. Chinese did not put that out. That was a message to Putin. China didn't say anything about it. So you can't get anything out of Biden. It's just a bunch of gibberish because he doesn't really want you and me, anybody else to know what's happening. But here's the only soundbite we could pick out to show you. Go.
Let me start with a few words about the recent elections held in the United States. What we saw was the strength and resilience of American democracy, and we saw it in action. And the American people proved once again that democracy is who we are. And there was a strong rejection of election deniers at every level, from those seeking to lead our states and those seeking to serve in Congress, and also those seeking to oversee the elections. And there was a strong rejection of political violence and voter intimidation. There was an emphatic statement that in America, the will of the people prevails.
I have no problem with that, but of course, Biden is overlooking the scandalous nature of the election in some states. Overall, the American election helped Biden a lot because people obviously don't really understand, the intricacies of our system. And Biden survived it. He wasn't embarrassed. And so it helped him. But she and Putin and everybody else know that Joe Biden is a weak president. And before, in the next 2 years, I expect him to be challenged by China. China's not going to take a chance that some tough guy is going to get elected president in 2024. So I expect something, but I don't, of course, know what.